The Model Shop live scale modeling show is brought to you by Tenant Controls, makers of lighting kits, soundboards, and more. Tenant Controls brings your models to life. Well, good evening, everyone. Boyd here with you, and welcome to episode 91 of the Model Shop. We're here in our shop here in San Antonio, Texas, broadcasting live again tonight. Glad to have you guys with us. I hopped in the chat there real quick, and looks like we got a good turnout tonight. On tap for tonight, we've got a little surprise in store for you guys. We're going to start on a brand new project here. I wanted to show you guys some work on the bench tonight of finishing up the Lockheed Electra, putting the decals on that, but I sprayed some paint on it this morning, and that chrome finish is a slow drying paint, and she's just not quite ready for handling yet. If we tried to put the decals on tonight, we probably would have got fingerprints all over it. So we'll save that one for next week. We'll show you that one getting all finished up. She's all built and all put together. We just got to put down those really nice markings that go on it. So we'll bring that one back next week. But tonight we've got a brand new project that we're going to start that's going to take us a few episodes here to complete. We'll do a little bit of work on it each week on the bench until we get it finished up, but I think you guys are going to like it. As a little hint, it's a Star Trek related project, and it's a nice little tribute for the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. I thought it would be nice time to do that. I want to say a quick shout out to our friends over at the Styrene Syndicate. They put on their 48-hour group build over the weekend here. It was a smashing success. I actually hopped on there for a while last night with a couple of the guys. I think it was during episode 6, and we had a good little chat and talked about a lot of things, and they pulled it off with a smashing success. They had a great turnout. They gave away tons of wonderful prizes. It was cool to see some of the people that watch our show here were over there checking it out, and I hope some of you guys won some stuff. They gave away some great prizes and everything, so it was a good time had by all, and we'll be happy to support that again next time when they run it. It might be a little while. They're kind of talking it over about when they might do another one again, so hats off to you guys for putting that on. Good group of people over there. They're doing wonderful things for the modeling community, and it was really inspiring to see all the people that participated, and it seemed like everyone had a really good time. So great job, you guys. We're going to kick things off tonight with a look at our Christine Pro Mod Dragster. A couple of you guys last week asked about seeing the model finished, and I had actually built that model a couple years ago, so I pulled that out of the display room and put it up on the bench here and shot a little video of it, and I'll share that with you guys. Some of you wanted to see what it looked like when it was finished. And if you're interested in getting one of those kits, the one we did the out-of-the-box review on last week, so we'll show you that. And let's see, what else have we got tonight? Oh yeah, we've already got a little bit of a Halloween preview. Believe it or not, I'm already thinking about Halloween this year. As you guys know, that's my favorite holiday, and I'm going to be doing a couple of figure builds this year for Halloween. So I got a couple of kits. I got one kit here in the shop already and another one on the way. We're going to have a look at the first kit that I got, and it's an awesome kit. It's a really nice resin figure kit with a nice diorama that goes with it. Pretty hard kit to find. I want to thank my friend Armando Della Cabata, who's one of our viewers, for helping me track down the kit. I had to look for it for a couple of months, and he kind of did some searching around on the various modeling forum communities he belongs to, and he actually found me a kit. But it's going to be a really cool kit to build, and it's going to take a while to build it, so I'm going to be working on it in my spare time so I can get it finished up in time for Halloween. And then we ordered in a 1/6 scale vinyl Frankenstein kit, which is an old Horizon kit, which I really liked when I saw it because it's got a really good likeness of Boris Karloff, my favorite Frankenstein from the original 1931 classic movie. We're going to build that one up too, so we'll have those to show you for Halloween. We're going to have a great Halloween show again this year. So it seems like it's a little ways off, but it'll be here before you know it, especially with all the work I have to do. And I can only work on those in my spare time, so I got to start on them now. But we'll show you that, and we're going to go through our do our reveal on our surprise for tonight, and then we're going to actually start working on that surprise. And there's a little bit of activity that you guys will get to take part of in that here, and we'll talk about that in just a few seconds when it comes up. But for now, we'll take a quick break, come back, and show you the Christine Pro Mod on the bench, and then we'll go from there. Stay tuned, everybody. Be right back. All right, everyone. Well, here is a look at the 1/25th scale Christine Pro Mod drag car that we did the kit review on last week. A couple of you guys in the comments said you'd like to see the kit and how it looks when it's finished. So I had built this a couple years ago, and I had it in my display room, so I brought it out here to show it to you guys. You can see this is the kit that we reviewed last week. Really fun little kit. You can see all the detail on this. Once you get all the decals and everything put on it, it turns out really nice. As it comes around here, you can see you got all the detail at the back with the wing and the dual parachute pack and the wheelie bars and the whole 9 yards. Again, with Revell, you know, they do a nice job with all the detail. And this was modeled after an actual real car that was campaigned by Richard Earl back in the 90s. And it's a beautiful kit. You can see that once you get everything put on it and all that, it looks a lot like Christine if it was made into a race car. I put the CQB 241 license plate from Christine on there. I think I got that from Jerry at HDA Model Works for a regular AMT Christine or 58 Plymouth that we built back here on the show a while ago for Halloween a couple years ago. And so it's a lot of fun to work on it. Now you can see the hood comes off separately, so when it comes around here, let me raise you up a little bit here and get you a down kind of looking shot on it. You can see the detail on the engine. It's got a really nice, I'm not sure if it's a big block Chrysler of some kind, I'm pretty sure, or it might be a big block Chevrolet. I think maybe it is a big block Chevrolet, but it's got the Christine valve covers on there, which is really neat, and the dual quad high rise. I added the spark plug wires onto it for a little bit of detail, but it's a sweet kit, and you know, with the fully detailed chassis. Now I'll go ahead and take the body off here real quick and set that off to the side, and as it spins around here you can see all the detail. You can see why a lot of people would you know, they buy these kits just for the chassis, because it's got a lot of stuff going on. You know, the full tubular roll cage, all the detail up front there. You can see you got the motor with the radiator, the steering setup, oil cooler tank here, or oil overflow tank. Some really neat detail going on there, the headers and everything. When you look at the interior, you've got even the electronic ignition system boxes are in there. You got the Pro Comp tack that's mounted up here on the top of the roll cage, and some gauges and stuff in there. The dual nitrous oxide set up there at the back, which is pretty neat. And a little fire extinguisher there. Awesome kit, really fun kit to work on. And again, with Revell, all that detail they packed in. I'll just hold this up and show you the bottom. All the detail down there on the bottom side of the chassis. So really sweet kit. And like I said, I hope you grab one of these. They're out there. They're still readily available from what I can see. They're not very rare. And again, you can either build it as this car, or you can use the chassis like a lot of guys out there are doing for you know, building up different versions of race cars and all that. So there you go, everybody. That's the Christine 58 Plymouth and 1/25th scale Pro Comp Dragster. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll come back in just a couple seconds with more of the show, everyone. Stand by. Back with you again, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video on the Christine Pro Mod Dragster there. And again, that's a really fun little kit. And like we talked about, you can If you don't want to build it as Christine, you can use that chassis for a lot of different race cars. Really nice detail on that. I wanted to mention that I'm broadcasting tonight with some new software for our output here, so I'll appreciate any feedback you guys might have about how the picture and everything is looking. Hopefully by next week we're going to be able to bump up the resolution too. Right now we're only at like 1700 by something, but next week's show will be at 1080p by 1980 or 1080 by 1920. So it'll be a lot big improvement on the picture. Right now I'm limited to my native screen resolution here, which is only a 1700 something. So I'm going to pick up a new monitor this week that'll let me go up to 1900, and you should see a really big improvement. We might even try to broadcast in 1080p. I've got the video power here to do it. Now this new software, it uses a lot less resources on my computer, so you shouldn't see any chopping going on during the videos anymore. I was noticing a lot of that, and my computer resources here were at about 98% when they were running, and they're about 21% now, so it's a big difference. So I'm getting used to it. I just have to remember to turn my microphone on every time I go from scene to scene, and if I forget, I apologize ahead of time, guys. You know me. I might space that part of it out. Okay, guys, well, we're going to move on now, and we're going to reveal our surprise for tonight. You Star Trek guys out there are going to like this one, I think. So we'll roll with that, and then we'll come back, and we'll do our little... we're going to have a little participation for you guys, as you'll see during the video there. We'll check in with the chat session and see what you guys think, and we'll go from there, everybody. So be right back with that. All right. Okay, everybody, well, you can see we've got all 4 of the original AMT Ertl Star Trek figures. That's our surprise for tonight. I've had these figures in my stash for probably over 25 years. I bought these when they were first released. I think it was somewhere around 93 or 1994, somewhere around there. So I've had these a long time. And I held off on building these all this time because I didn't have any experience working with vinyl. And since I've been building some of these figures lately and learning the ropes a little bit, I thought it was time to build these. And I couldn't think of a better time than this year, when it's the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, and a nice little tribute to the original crew. So on the show here, we're going to build up all 4 of these great little kits. You can see we've got Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Mr. Scott, and Dr. Leonard McCoy. Now, they're all in a little bit different poses. They're about 12 inches tall, and again, they're vinyl kits. So you've got to use, certain kind of paints. Now, we've been using these craft acrylic paints, and they work out really great for these, so that's what we're going to be painting these with. We're going to do a little bit of combination of airbrushing and hand painting on these, and we're going to take you through the build of each one. After we finish showing these to you, we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to come back and put one of them up on the bench and pop one out of the box and have a look. Maybe we'll look at Captain Kirk there. These have been sealed since they were brand new. I just pulled the plastic off of these before I brought these on for you. So they've been up in my closet in the house for all this time. Hopefully they're okay. They should be. But this is going to be a lot of fun to work on these. I'm really excited to get started on them. As I said, we're going to do all 4 of them here on the show for you guys. It might take us a couple of episodes to get them all done. But the fun part for you guys is that after we finish taking a look at these, we're going to go on the bench and then pop Kirk out of the box and have a look at him. But when I come back on the camera and go to our chat session, I'm going to pop in there real quick, and we're going to let you guys vote on the order that we're going to build these kits in. So you can pick Captain Kirk first, Mr. Spock, Scotty, or Dr. McCoy, or however you want. But we'll figure out all 4 of these, which order we're going to build these in, so that'll be fun for you guys to take part of that. And then we're going to start tonight on assembling one of the kits. We'll do the preliminary work. We'll get the we're probably going to have to do a little bit of heating on these things to reshape them a little bit. That's typical with vinyl. We'll get all the excess vinyl trimmed away. We'll make sure they're all fitting good, and we'll get them hopefully glued together, and maybe even start a little bit of our putty work. And then we'll kind of go from there. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about that, kind of on a figure kick here lately. A little bit later in the show, I'm going to show you an out-of-the-box review of a kit that I just got in here for my, I'm already planning on the Halloween stuff for this year. We're going to do a Halloween group build over on the Google community again. And so I got a really cool Dracula figure kit in here. I want to thank my good friend Armando Della Cabata for helping me find the kit. I'm a big Christopher Lee fan. I think Christopher Lee was the best Dracula as far as when I grew up watching the Dracula movies. And So there was this kit out there called Taste the Blood of Dracula. It's a beautiful kit. It's got the figure of Christopher Lee as Dracula. He's about 12 inches tall, and it's got a really cool resin diorama scene that goes with it, with some kind of old church ruins that he's in, with some really cool like stained glass windows in the background. It's going to be a really, really fun kit. We're going to do some lighting on it. We're going to do some sounds on it. We're going to go all out on that build. And so I've got to get started on that one pretty soon and work on it a little bit in my spare time to have it ready for Halloween. And then I also ordered a 1/6 scale vinyl recast kit of from the original Horizon Frankenstein kit, which is a beautiful kit, again about 11 or 12 inches tall, of Boris Karloff as Frankenstein from the original 1931 classic Frankenstein film. And the sculptor who did the work on it captured the likeness of Boris Karloff, I mean, just perfectly. And that's my favorite actor that ever played Frankenstein. I still think the original 1931 Frankenstein is the best Frankenstein ever, and it stuck with me all these years. And that's from what I could tell looking at the pictures, it looked just like Boris Karloff. So we've got that one coming in. So I'm going to build that one up for Halloween as well. So a couple of kits coming down the road here. But tonight and the next couple of episodes here, it's all about these Star Trek figures. Again, paying a little 50th anniversary tribute to the classic crew of Star Trek. I still think they're the best crew. I'm a little bit biased, but I'm an old guy. What can I say? But this is going to be a lot of fun, guys. So let me, we're going to take a quick break here, come back, and we'll have Captain Kirk. I believe we'll look at him. We'll take him out of the box. Again, this has been never pulled out of the package, so it's going to be like opening up an old creaky vault, you know, kind of cool. And we'll have a look at the figure, and then we'll start talking about what we're going to do, and then we'll go back and do our little vote for tonight, and then we'll actually start working on one of these. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, more of the model shop coming right up, guys. Back with the figure up on the bench. See you in just a couple seconds. Back with you again, everyone, and here we are up on the bench with our Captain Kirk figure. Gotta say, this is not too bad of a sculpting here. Kind of, you know, pretty nice representation of William Shatner here. Not too bad. I know that there's some aftermarket resin heads available for these kits, but we're just going to go ahead and build these right out of the box. That's kind of the way I like to do a lot of my builds. But so let's go ahead and pop this guy out of the package here and see what we've got after almost 25 years of sitting in my stash. Hopefully everything's okay. You can see that he's still packed in his original bag here. Let's pop this thing open and see what we got. Let's see. Okay, you got his legs here. Typical figure kit. You got the legs, the upper torso, the arms, and the head and the hands have to go on separately, so no big surprise there. You can see we got his little phaser here, and okay, they've got the handle of the phaser already in his hand, so that's okay. And we'll have a look at the face. Yeah, that's not a bad likeness of William Shatner. I'm pretty pleased with that, actually. You can see there, they got his hairstyle there pretty good, and even his loose lock that he always had hanging down on his forehead, so pretty good, not bad at all. They've got his captain's rank here on his sleeve. You can see that. Let me tilt you down just a little bit here so I can keep you in the picture. Not bad at all. Now here's the lower half. You can see these are getting some kind of weird spots on them from sitting for so long, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. We will clean this up. I've got some solution that I'll clean these with, and of course I'll give these a nice bath and some Dawn dishwashing detergent. I'll do that real quick while we're on break here or something, and get him ready to go. I'm not too worried about that. Hopefully he's got a little bit of leopard action going on there, you can see. But the casting looks like it's in good shape. I mean, it's not warped really badly or anything. The detail on these is pretty crisp and clean. They've got the seam lines down the sides of their tunic and down the sides of their pants like they should have. The seams down and running down their boots. The detail on the bottom of the boots here looks pretty good. So pretty good. They look like they're in good shape. The casting on the hands here is nice and clean. I don't see any major defects or anything like that. They do give you a nice little display base, which is a sort of simulate the transporter pad. You can see that here. It's made out of regular plastic. That's a nice clean mold, so he'll have something to stand on. Maybe I'll get some decals later that have each one of their names on there from Jerry or something and put that on there. That'd be pretty nice. So what we're going to have to do basically to work on these is we're going to have to cut away this excess vinyl that you can see here. The vinyl on these is actually pretty thick, but let's just kind of test. The first thing I always do with these is see how they're going to stand up, and you can see that he's not going to want to stand up pretty good. We're going to have to spread his legs out a little bit, maybe flatten out his boots a little bit, so we're going to have to take the heat gun and work on this a little bit and reshape it. But vinyl is really easy to do. You can just heat it up a little bit up in this area here, and it'll soften up right away, and then we just get it where we want it, and then we take our little water bottle that I keep handy here all the time and squirt it down with that, and that'll cool it off really fast, and that'll kind of lock it in place. So we'll get that straightened out first and kind of go from there. But you guys, it might not be Captain Kirk that we're going to do here first tonight. And I come back from this little segment here after the quick little break. We will let you guys vote on this, and we'll pick out the entire order that we're going to build these in. Let's just take a look at the instructions really quick. Probably not a lot going on here. They do have a little bit of a painting guide here that you can see. They're talking about the phaser. You've got the bright silver nose, the silver on the sides of the phaser here. There's a little tab you're supposed to remove. Black body. It says flat silver on the top, flat silver on the sides, bright silver for the tip. And then you've got his face here. They're calling for his hair to a medium to light brown. Flesh tone on the face, eyes brown. Flesh tone on the hands. Sleeves, bands on the sleeves. Sleeve is called yellow ochre, so that's the color. We're going to have to mix up sort of a mustard yellow color, which we can do that pretty easy. We've got the gold band on his hands. Then you're trimming off the vinyl and everything. And you're coming here to the back and doing the general assembly. They've got an up-close picture of his insignia on his chest here, and it tells you how to paint that. But pretty straightforward. Not a lot going on here. Not a lot of parts. It's mostly going to be painting. Now on the painting of these, we're going to use our craft acrylic paints. They seem to work really good on these vinyl kits. I'm going to airbrush almost everything. I'm going to airbrush our flesh tones on his face. We'll use two different kinds of flesh tones, a lighter and a darker. We'll start off with our darker one first, and that will kind of go in all, make sure it goes in all the recessed areas and everything. And then we'll hit it a little bit. We'll just highlight it real lightly with on his cheeks and stuff with the lighter shade. And then we will do a little bit of hand painting to do his eyes. We'll have to hand paint on his hair. We'll do a little bit of a wash to get his lip detail and, a little bit around the eyes and all that. And then we're going to airbrush the tunic and the pants. And we'll do that with two different colors. I'll take the base color here and airbrush it all down. And then we're just going to take the airbrush and go real lightly and bring out all the kind of the, a little bit with a little bit darker shade. And we'll bring out all the wrinkling details. On the pants here, we'll do those in black. And then what I like to use on black is a little bit of tan, actually. and just really lightly airbrush around that, and that'll make the wrinkle, detail come out, and it'll highlight it. It won't just look all monotone. We'll do the boots in black as well, but it calls for gloss, so we'll probably just do a little bit of future over the top of the boots and make that a little bit glossier than the pants. I like the craft paints because they dry nice and flat. They'll look nice as far as the clothes and everything go. They're not supposed to, the clothes aren't supposed to look too glossy. And a little bit of hand painting, to do the rank insignia on his sleeve and everything, and the band around the neck here. We're gonna have to do that. The insignia here, which that's gonna be pretty tough because they don't have any detail at all there as far as where you're gonna paint the command insignia. We got to paint a little kind of star in there, but we'll just have to figure that out. Might be able to do the edges around there with a little fine Sharpie or something. It's got to have a black border and then gold in the center and all that, but we'll get that figured out. And then the painting of the hand paint the detail onto the phaser here. So pretty cool though. And like I said, being I'll just kind of mock this guy up and show him to you here. 12 inches tall. They'll be pretty impressive figures when they're all done. So all four of them together is going to look really cool. So all right, another quick break, everyone, and then we'll come back and I'll pop over into the chat session and we'll take our vote. So get your votes ready, guys. Start discussing that now. Come back from the break and we'll figure out what we're going to do here for which figure we're going to start on the bench tonight first. I'm really going to have fun with this. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Be back in a couple seconds again. Another quick break. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that Star Trek surprise. I think it's going to be a pretty cool and fun little project. I'm going to hop over to the chat session here really quick now, and we're going to do our little viewers participation segment. So you guys are going to get to vote. I'd like each one of you, if you want to comment, put the order that you would like to see these kits built in. Which figure you would like to see first, second, third, and fourth, and we'll just kind of pick the majority rules there, and we'll go from there, guys. I'm really looking forward to getting started on that. As soon as we get that part of it wrapped up, I'm going to go ahead and play the video of the Dracula kit out of the box review, and while that's running, I'll be setting everything up on the bench here once we get our figure picked out for tonight, and we'll get him cleaned up and ready to go and start putting them together. Just yeah, everybody in here, just type in all four of the in the order that you want to see them instead of just one at a time here. Okay, I see a Kirk, Spock, Bones, and Scotty from Woodstock 15. It's like several of the Kirks are first. Okay, everybody, I think I can already pick out the winner here. It looks like we got Kirk, Spock, Bones, and Scotty in that order are kind of taking over here. So I'm going to write this down. Kirk, Spock, Bones, and Scotty. Okay, so there you have it, guys. We'll build them in that order. So what I'm going to do here really quick is I'm going to play our out-of-the-box kit reveal here of the Dracula kit, which I think you guys will really like that kit. That's going to be fun to work on that. We're going to go all out on that. We're going to do some lighting and some sounds and all kinds of cool stuff. It's got a beautiful diorama that goes with it, too, as you guys will see in the video. And while that's running, I'm going to get Captain Kirk ready to go here. I'll get him set up on the bench, and we'll start putting him together tonight, okay? So enjoy the video. We'll be right back after that with some on-the-bench work, guys. See you in just a few. All right, some more figure action for you guys. This is going to be a sneak peek at the figure that I'm going to be, one of the figures that I'm going to be building up for Halloween this year. Decided to go with a couple of figures this year for our Halloween group build. And I got this kit in. I want to thank my good friend Armando Della Cabada. Armando actually helped me find this kit. I had been looking for this kit for a couple of months. It's a really hard kit to find. It's one of my all-time favorite characters, Christopher Lee as Dracula from the original Hammer horror series of films. It's a fantastic kit. It's got a beautiful diorama base that goes with it. Figure's a little over 12 inches tall. So it's an awesome, awesome kit, and I was having a really hard time finding it. It's no longer in production, and Armando was able to track one down for me. So thanks again, buddy. You've bailed me out more than once. So let's have a look at this kit here. I'll slide the box over, and we'll save some of the goodies here for the end, but we'll pull the figure itself out here and show it to you. This is the his cape, which is a solid vinyl or a solid resin casting here. It's really detailed. It's got one of his hands already cast onto it. The pose that he is he's walking down a set of stairs here, but it's not going to take a lot to clean this up. It's in pretty good shape. Kind of neat that it's already molded in black. Here you can see we have part of the backdrop of the diorama, which is these are depicted as some old church ruins, and you have these beautiful stained glass windows here. These are the frames, but they actually give you the inserts for the stained glass windows in the background, which we're going to do some lighting on that, which will be a lot of fun. Pull out the main part of the base here, and you can see that these are sort of steps, and we have some neat looking, you know, script work here in the stones and everything. Gonna make this look all old and nasty when we do our painting on it. And let's start pulling out the rest of the stuff here. I haven't sat down to figure out how all this goes together yet, but you can see we've got some details that go on here. Some stone pieces and all that. I'm not sure where any of this goes. We'll have to figure that out. But the detail on this stuff is great. And we have, this is part of the backdrop, I think. And we have a beautiful plaque here that says "Taste the Blood of Dracula" from the original movie, which we'll do that somewhere up front here, kind of like that. But let's get out more of these parts here. Here's the other header kind of thing. I think they kind of go on something like this. I'll have to figure these out, which way they go. But it's going to be really, really cool. We have a kind of a griffin thing that kind of goes on up here or somewhere on here. There's actually pictures of this built-up kit. Typical with most resin kits, they don't give you any instructions at all. A lot of these garage kits come that way. But here we've got another one of these kind of Griffith guys, or gargoyles, maybe more accurate. Pretty cool. Now we'll bring the figure itself out and show that to you. But basically the backdrop kind of goes like this, and it sits up here like that, and the figure stands in front of it. But you've got these beautiful printed in clear stained glass windows that goes in here behind this. You have to cut this all out, but it basically fits in here like this. And I'm going to go ahead and box that in from behind and do some lighting on that. What my plan is that we'll do a lightning effect. We're going to have, maybe I'll get Ralph to make me a little board, or I'll do it with one of my soundboards, but we're going to have some lightning that goes off every once in a while and lights up these windows, which will be really cool with our Dracula guy standing in front. I'm going to get a couple of projector lights down here on the bottom and have those projecting up, and then we'll light up Dracula's face. Maybe one in white and one in red. I can light up his face in red. That will look really, really cool. And so you can see that this will be pretty impressive once it's all put together. But let's go ahead and pull this back down and show you the figure itself. Here we have his sort of legs and his upper half here. He's kind of wearing a suit jacket, and the cape fits over the top of that, like so. And you can see he's pretty darn big here, guys. He's probably at least 12 or 13 inches tall, but he's going to be pretty impressive when he's all finished up. And then the most important part, well, we have his arms here too. We'll show you those. There's a hand in here somewhere. We got to find that. Should be in the bag in there. Because we got one hand we got to put on. The other hand's already on the cape. Let me see if I can find that. Hopefully it's in here. Hopefully it's not missing. Yeah, I'm feeling something in here. It must be the hand. Yeah, we've got a hand. We've got a couple little small things in here. Let's see what we got here. Part of a candle base, I think, for some detail. And we got the drawstring on the top of his cape. And then we've got his hand here, which they've even got. Christopher Lee is famously known for wearing kind of a little pinky ring there on his pinky finger, so they've even got that detail on there, so we want to be sure not to lose that. But let's look at the most important part here of any figure, and that's the face. And wow, like I said, they've done a fantastic job capturing Christopher Lee here, guys. If we get this painted decent, this is going to look just like him. And you know, his hairstyle, everything. I mean, it's really cool. And I'm a really big Christopher Lee fan. I think he's the best Dracula ever. And so this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's just kind of see. Looks like we're going to have to shave off some of the excess resin there, but this is going to be fantastic. And I'm just so happy to get this kit. I found out that there isn't a lot of Christopher Lee Dracula stuff out there at all, so finding this kit was really a thrill. And again, thanks to Armando for helping me out with that. So we're going to build this one up for Halloween a little bit later this year. And I'm also going to build the 1/6 scale Frankenstein kit. It's a recast vinyl kit that I'm going to be getting from Taiwan. But I think it was originally a Horizon kit, and it has a very, very excellent likeness of Boris Karloff's face from the original 1931 Frankenstein, which is, in my opinion, the best Frankenstein of them all. I think Boris Karloff was fantastic in that movie. So I'll have two of my all-time favorites here with Boris Karloff and Christopher Lee. They're basically the same scale, so they'll be nice displayed next to each other. And we're going to build up both of those for Halloween this year. And it's actually not that far off, guys. It'll be here before we know it, so I've got to get started on these pretty soon. So I hope you enjoyed checking that out. When we get our Frankenstein kit in here, maybe in another week or two, it's on its way. We'll show you that kit too. So again, this is going to be a lot of fun. And with that lighting and everything going on in there, that's going to be really a neat display. So something cool to look forward to for you guys to check out in the future. All right, taking another break, and we'll come right back again, everybody. Stay tuned. Okay, everybody. Well, here I am back on the bench, and I've been getting everything ready to go here. We've got our figure that we picked out here first, our Captain Kirk, all ready to go. And let me see if I can get you guys a good camera angle here. Apologize for the bumps. Hopefully, you guys can see this good. But I used some of this Nason wax and grease remover here just at the last second, cleaning up these parts. I took all these kits out of the bag and got them washed with some Dawn dishwashing detergent. I didn't know which kit you guys were going to pick first, so I just went ahead and did them all. So we kind of pre-did that. But I went back now and washed these all down with a, put a little bit of this on a rag and wiped them all down, so they'll be nice and clean. Once we get done doing all the assembly work and everything, I'm going to repeat that again because I might get some fingerprints and stuff on it. But so we're going to kick things off here and get started. I'm going to first work on what I like to do with these figures is I like to try to get them so they're standing, kind of close to standing on their own. You can see right now that Captain Kirk, he's not standing up very good at all. His legs have to be a little bit farther apart, and we've got to heat up around the ankles down here just a little bit to get them tilted forward just a little bit. So I've got my heat gun here. Now there's different methods that people use for this. I've gotten used to this already. I've used this heat gun for so long. I know how far I can go without melting stuff. So I'm going to start off first I'm going to work up on his area. He's going to get a little bit of a hot seat here. I'm going to start off on this area right up in here first, and I'm going to get his legs spread out a little bit here. He's just standing too close together, and that's going to fix a lot of the problem to begin with as far as why he's not standing right. And this will just take a couple seconds to get it warmed up here. Now, as I said, you can do this different ways. You can do it with hot water. You can use a hair dryer. There's a couple different ways. Some people too, what they'll do is they'll put, they'll fill this lower part here with plaster. I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to mount these guys permanently on their bases when they're done. I'm probably either going to you'd probably be able to see, if I JB welded, you'd probably be able to see it with the little ridges that are on there. So I'm not going to do that. I'll probably pin these guys down. There's enough meat here in the heel, I think, where I can put a wooden dowel or something up in there and pin these guys down once I get them all finished up. You can see he's already softening up pretty good here. Just take your time, and yeah, it's starting to come out really good here. Okay, now I'll just kind of get them where I like them here, about like that, and then I keep my little pump spray bottle here with some cool water, and I just inside and out just go around it and wet it down, and that cools this stuff off real quick and kind of locks it in place. Hold him in place here for a second. And if you get some vinyl parts that are, you'll see that more on like the old, the recast kits and stuff, where the shapes are not quite right. Sometimes they get flattened out, or sometimes they get kind of bloated looking. You can use that same technique and heat it up and just kind of keep working it with your fingers until you get it work back into the shape that it should be. It's not that hard to do at all. But this is already getting hard again. It's it's all cooled off. So we got his stance more where it should be, but he's still leaning back just a little bit. So I'm going to heat up right around here on the bottom of his ankles. Dump that water out of the inside there, and we're going to get him tilted forward just a little bit. And so then his platform, or his base, that his stance will be pretty close. I'm just kind of seeing here. Yeah, I think if we heat up here and here, it's going to help us out a lot. So let's start doing that. There's some pretty good wrinkles in the boots here on the ankle anyway, so if it wrinkles a little bit, you're not going to notice. I'm just going to put some pressure on it here and this other side. This is some really thick vinyl on these kits compared to a couple of the other vinyl kits that I've been working on recently. So it'll be pretty hard to melt this stuff and destroy it. You'd really have to go overboard on your heating here to do that. Okay, we're good on the left leg. We just got to get a little bit more heat on the inside here on his right leg. He's getting there. I'll actually heat up his shoes here a little bit too. Or boots in this case. Yeah, definitely some thick vinyl. This is taking longer to heat up than the other stuff I've been working on. Okay, let me try this right here. Looks like he's coming around pretty good. We'll start cooling this off. So one thing I forgot to do is fill up my water bottle. I'm a little bit low here. You can see he's starting to stand up now on his own. I think we got to go a little bit more on his right foot here. It doesn't have to be totally perfect because it's going to get pinned. But I just want his feet to look like they're flat, and I want him to be leaning, you know, like he's not leaning back. So if he doesn't completely stand up on his own, I'm not too worried about that, just so it looks normal. This right one is the one that's being kind of stubborn here. Give him a little bit more heat. Pretty soft now. That's pretty good. Alright, let's get him where we want him again. Running out of water. But we're getting there. Okay, you can see that he's pretty close to standing up on his own now. He's slowly tilting back a little bit, but he's going to be pretty good. Like I said, once we get him pinned down on everything, I think he's going to look good. So I think we're good on the lower half here. I might tweak on that a little bit more. We're not going to be doing much with this lower half here tonight anyway. This little band that we have around here, we're going to leave that because his shirt kind of is going to sit over the top of that. But what we got to do now is we got to remove this little excess vinyl right here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to heat this up so it'll be easier to cut. And we just got a brand new sharp number 11 hobby knife. And it works great for cutting this vinyl. And we'll trim that off of there, and then we're going to repeat the process on his arms. I don't think we're going to mess with the head tonight because we're not going to get to painting that. I mainly want to get his upper torso put together and glued, and then we'll probably put a bead of putty around the shoulders there, and we'll go on from there, and we'll continue on with this next week. Okay, that should be enough. We're going to start cutting away our excess vinyl here. You want to be careful with your... Yeah, we got that part real soft. I'm going to have to cool it off first a little bit. Made it too soft. Okay, yeah, be careful with your hobby knife as always, guys. These things are very sharp. You can cut yourself in a lickety-split if you're not careful. You can see it just cuts through this stuff like butter. I really like working with this vinyl. It's great. Alright, we've got that little bead off of there. As you can see, we remove that. Now, while it's a little bit soft, we'll try to test fit it on here on the lower half and see what we get. Just pop over that edge there for me, guy. There we go. Fits together pretty good. Got just a little bit of a gap there, but let me see if I can... yeah, I think when we hold that down and glue it, that's going to work out really good. We'll make sure he's turned, the right way here too. But that's going to come out great. You can kind of get a sense of the overall height now of how these are going to look. Okay, so that's fine. So we don't have much more to do on the lower half there now, but now what we got to do is we got to do the same thing. Got to get rid of the excess vinyl on these arms. And I'll try not to heat these up as much this time. Okay, get our knife again and start working our way through this. I'm staying as close as I can to that flat part. Okay, we've got that one. Just a little bit of excess we need to shave off here. Got plenty of meat to work with here. There's a nice flat edge on this all the way around that we'll be able to glue to, so I just want to get this. The more flatter I get, the better his arm's going to fit. While we're working here, we'll talk a little bit. Hope you guys got a chance to see Star Trek Beyond. As I said last week, my family and I went and saw it last Monday, and I was really happy with the movie. I was like a lot of people, I was a little bit skeptical when I saw the early trailers come out, but it's I think it's one of the best Star Trek movies yet. It was a great movie, and I'm really glad to see that. That means that I think they're already talking about, they've already got the cast signed up for a fourth film, and they've got a storyline, something involving Kirk's father, George Kirk, which is going to be played by the actor who played, I forgot his name, I think he's one of the Avengers. I think he's Thor, isn't he? I'm not sure, but the same actor's going to play Kirk's father. I don't know if they're going to do a time travel thing. Kirk's supposed to be able to get to meet him or something like that. So, but anyway, I thought the movie was great. I won't throw out any spoilers out there, but if you're a Star Trek fan, do yourself a favor and go see it. I think you'll like it. Okay, we got his arm looking pretty good here. I'm going to reference the box art here to see about where his arm is posed. Kind of right about like that. Just a little bit further up. Okay, so that's perfect, guys. That worked out awesome. What I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to take a really quick break, and I'm going to go fill my water bottle up. So I'll do that. We'll come back and continue on with this. See you in just a couple seconds, everybody. Back with you again, everyone. I've got my water bottle filled up here, so let's work on this, his left arm now. The other arm worked out great. Do a little bit of heating on this. We'll get this part done. We'll be ready to do a little bit of assembly here. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. This stuff is sure a lot easier to work with than resin. Resin is not bad either. It sands really easy and everything, but boy, that dust that comes off, you definitely want to wear a respirator or something when you're working with resin. That's some pretty potent stuff. You don't get hardly any fumes or anything off of this vinyl, though. It's pretty clean to work with. Really like it. Okay, do the same thing here. Now we're going to trim this down a little bit. Okay, you can see we got that pretty cleaned up. Let's do our little test fit on this side again. Let's see, his arm is kind of hanging straight down at his side on this one. We've got a nice fit there, guys. Really nice. Okay, so now it's time to move on to doing a little bit of assembly. Now, there's all kinds of different glues you can use on these vinyl kits. Some guys out there are using CA/Gorilla Glue. It's, you know, and they like it because it dries a little bit slower, and they say it has a little bit more elasticity to it. So, you know, you can kind of look into that yourselves to find out what you want to use or what works best for you. I've been just using this regular straight up CA glue, the kind of gel type, you know, not the super thin stuff, with a little bit of kicker in my aerosol can here. And I've had good results with this. I haven't had anything come apart. It seems to be pretty solid when I get done with it. So that's what I'm going to use here. So we're going to put a little bead around the arm piece right here. Now, if you want, you can open this part up, but it's really not necessary. I'm just going to put a little bead around the edge here. And then we're going to go for our arm. Make sure I get it where I want it. It's kind of straight down at his side almost. This stuff will set up pretty quick, so you got to be on your toes when you're doing this. Just a little bit higher. We're almost there. Okay, I think right about there. Okay, and then I'm going to hit it with my kicker. It'll soak right in there. It'll get in that little crack, and in a matter of seconds here, it'll be setting up for us. So there you can see that. Just our basic setup there, and we'll go over here to the other side. Let's get rid of this extra kicker here. Got a good fit all the way around there. Okay. Got that one pretty good on the first try. I'm happy with that. Okay, kicker again. Just putting a little bit of pressure on it. Okay, I'll get rid of that. Great, we didn't slob any glue out of our seam or anything there. It came out pretty clean. So he's got his basic posture now, which I think is pretty Shatner-esque. And so we've got that stage of it done. So now what we're going to do, and again, I think Chris Cortell's here with us tonight. Chris turned me on to this Vallejo putty here a while back, doing a couple figures, and I've been using it ever since on these figures, especially because I really like this applicator tip. It can get up inside here, especially like where it really comes in handy is underneath, like on the armpits and stuff, where you can, you know, you got to pack that stuff up in there. So we're going to just go around now and put a little bead of this all the way around, and get this worked on there, and that'll make a nice little blend in. You might have to do this once or twice. It does shrink a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll fill this in and basically let it dry after I smooth it out a little bit, and then see how it looks. If it shrinks and goes too far inside the seam, I'll just repeat that again, and usually 1 or 2 applications and it's good to go. See how easy that was? We've already gone around that entire these light colored parts are kind of washing out here on this camera, but we've gone all the way around this now, and we've already put a nice bead of filler on that. Okay, we're going to repeat it on the left arm here. You see how easy I got up in this tight little spot up in here with this tip? It works out great. Okay, so there you can see we've got our bead on all the way around. And now we need to clean this off just a little bit. So I'm just gonna wet my finger just a little bit here and just do a basic smoothing out. Get my I'll get a paper towel here and put a little bit of water on that. So the putty that we wind up getting on our flat surfaces here that we don't want, we can wipe that off here in just a second. Now I'm just using a little bit of water on my towel here, and that just kind of smooths this stuff right out, guys. It blends it right in. Really works slick. You shouldn't have to do hardly any sanding when you're done with this, if any. Now it's got a little bit of a recessed gap where it sunk in just a little bit right here, so I see that, and I'm just going to take my my putty and just lay another bead in there real quick. Let it blend in. That was where we pretty much had the worst gap of all on this on the fit here overall. Just getting rid of the excess stuff that got on his arm and his body here. Okay, as you can see, that gap is already almost gone. Maybe just a little bit right up in here and a little bit right in there. So we're going to let this dry now. And but you know the general idea of what we'll do here. This will shrink in there just a little bit, and I'll come back later on tonight after about an hour or so when this is hardened up a little bit, and I'll put another bead on there and just wipe it off again. And that'll be all we'll have to do here, guys. This will be ready to prime. We'll be able to prime this. We'll save that for next week. And but like I said, as far as on the pants and everything, we don't have to do a whole lot. We'll put this, we're going to paint these separately so we don't have to worry about, our two different colors. We'll paint the shirt and everything and paint the upper half, get his legs all painted here, his pants, his boots, and then we'll just glue it together. And we won't have to mask off the two separate halves or whatever. And then we'll paint the hands and the head and everything separate and put those on at the very end. So, looking good, guys. We've got to paint the little phaser up here too that glues onto the top of his hand. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the little on the bench segment working on our vinyl figure tonight. I'm already having a lot of fun working on this, and we're going to have 3 more of these to build. And so this will keep us busy here for a couple of weeks on the show. Next week we'll come back and we'll show you hopefully the, well, I know for sure the Electra will be dried by then, and we'll be able to finish up with the decals, so we'll wrap that one up. And maybe we'll start another little side project too. We've got the Speed Racer Mach 5 and the James Bond Little Nelly that we picked out a few months ago, so maybe we can start on one of those kits. Keep you guys busy watching here. All right, guys, a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be on for our shout-outs and our Q&A for tonight's show. See you in just a couple seconds, everyone. Okay, back with you again. I hope you enjoyed that segment on putting together our Captain Kirk vinyl figure, or we're off to a good start on him. And I'll save him up for next week. We'll be back with some, we'll get his priming done, and we'll get all the, we'll start busting out our paints. We're going to be using some craft acrylic paints, like I mentioned. These work really good for figures. They dry nice and flat, so they'll look like real fabric and not too shiny. And then we'll do the work on his head, and his, we're going to do a little bit of airbrushing there, and then a little bit of hand painting. So a little bit of a couple different techniques that we'll be showing you on this thing. A lot of fun. All right, we're going to open up the shout-outs first here tonight, and I'll roll up to the top of the screen like usual. Like to hear from you guys how you thought the broadcast looked tonight. Like I said, this program seems to be working pretty good. Hopefully it will have less glitches with it. I just have to get used to the new menu. I have to manually turn my microphone every time I fade in and out from a scene, so I hope I don't forget to do that and spend a half hour talking and you guys can't hear anything. Hopefully you guys, I'll pick it up on the chat or something if that happens. But so we've got Country Woods 9000 with us tonight. Nice to see you, Country. George Volkowski, Big Stats, Rick O'Connor, Devin Jones, Shannon Freeman, Mark Shue, Dan Harris, Mike Scarola, Aussie Trekkie, Mike Kovac, Eddie Perez, Chuck Brooks is here. Chuck, where you been, buddy? We thought you disappeared off the face of the planet. We haven't seen you on Uvu in a little while. I think he said he was building his new model hobby room, so that's cool. Or maybe it's a display room, but good to see you on, Chuck. Big Stats. John Petrie's up with us here from Great Britain. Nice to see you, John. Dadnator24. Dan Harris. Chris with Classic Plastic is here. Nice to see you, Chris. Chris has been the man for inspiring me to get on all these figure kits, so got him to thank for that. Gadgetron 3000, Rick O'Connor, Rocket Boy. There's another guy, Mike out there, does a lot of beautiful figure kits, does some fantastic painting work. Another big inspiration. I hope I can learn to paint as good as you, Mike. I'm nervous about doing my Dracula kit, but we'll see how that works out. Shannon Freeman's here with us tonight. Robert Morris, Scale Model Kit Review. Steve, that's Steve over there. Steve was one of the sponsors and took part in the Styrene Syndicate 48-hour group build. So just tell those guys for me, Steve. Fantastic job. Hats off to you guys, and appreciate you stepping up and sponsoring that thing and sharing the booty with the viewers out there. They all got to collect some really nice stuff. It capped off with a beautiful, fantastic resin King Kong kit. I can't remember the name of the guy who won it, but that was a beautiful kit. Bunch of airbrushes, modeling supplies, all kinds of goodies. Tons of model kits. Mopar Modeler, who's another channel I follow on YouTube, he gave away a beautiful Johann Chrysler turbine car, which is one of their most rare and really sought after kits, one of their most detailed kits. I would have liked to have won that myself. That was great, but they did a great job with that whole thing. Scott Sangster is here. I think he might be new. Nice to see you, Scott. Benny Gilardi. Let's see. Mike Scarola. Alpha Trion 92. Omar, our resident Joker. Nice to see you, Omar. Tell you, that guy's got a great sense of humor. DeWitt Chain Lines with us. Sci-Fi Modeler. 2000 SPQR. Nice to see you, Cal. Big Stats. Punch something into the chat there, guys, if you're here watching, so we can make sure we give you a shout out. George Bramble is here tonight. Gary M. Chris says he ate 4 pieces of cake. Wow. Well, if it's good cake, it wouldn't be too hard to eat 4 pieces. The captain is here with us tonight. Outsider 238. Brian Knowles. Kurt Road Trip. Devin Jones, I think he might be new. Nice to see you, Devin. Robert Morris. B. Tilley. And Ralph with Tenant Controls. And yeah, we donated something from Tenant Controls to the 48-hour build. They loved it, Ralph. It was a big hit. We gave away one of Ralph's brand new remote control boards with the the little remote setup that operates the navigation lights and the deflector dish fading from blue to amber, which they really like that. Sal C. I guess it must have been somebody's birthday today. Everybody's talking about their age. I must have missed that. Happy birthday, whoever it is. Looks like we're all about the same age here. I'm 53. We got 52, 57, a couple 40s. Modeler X, nice to see you. Federation Shipyard, nice to see you, Dennis. Dennis is just about done with his 350 scale Classic Enterprise. Beautiful work on that, Dennis. Can't wait to see her all finished up. Leona Timber Company. Randy Gagliano. Benny Gilardi. Ron Mac 95. Ron's got a question here. He says, how long does it usually take for... oh, I lost it here. It jumped on me. Oops. Let me see if I can find it again. There it is. How long does it normally take for oil-based paints to dry? I've been waiting for 6 days for a part I painted to dry. That seems kind of long, Ron. Wonder if that paint was mixed up all the way. If it wasn't mixed up really good, it might be giving you an issue there. That seems like kind of a long time. Are you having a lot of humidity in your area? That can sometimes have something to do with it. Randy Gagliano says oil paints can sometimes take years to dry completely. I use a little bit of oil-based paints for some of my figure painting and some weathering and stuff like that, but I put it on really, really thin, and then I top coat it with dull coat or some kind of sealer. Let's see, we've got Chris Baxley, Randy Wahlberg, a couple more guys checking in. Bob Busking. Bob was there for the 48-hour build too. He stayed up late. Poor Bob, he missed he had to make a couple of restroom stops. I remember I was there last night, and they gave away prizes, I think, 2 times in a row when he was in the bathroom, so he missed out. I hope you finally won something, Bob. We've got E-Biker on here with us tonight. James, I think James has finished up. Well, he finished up his Enterprise E, his papercraft model. I think he started a new one now, so looking forward to that one, James. Ron Mac 95 says the humidity in his flat is pretty bad. I'm assuming when he says flat, he's from somewhere over in Great Britain. That's their term for apartment over there. Shannon Freeman's got a question. When will the new smooth saucer be released from Polar Lights for the classic 350 scale Enterprise? It says second quarter, second or third quarter, so a little later this summer or into the fall is what I'm hearing, Shannon. Okay, guys, if you have any questions about anything we showed you tonight or anything else that either myself or somebody here can answer, fire those questions up. It's time for the Q&A session. Red Shirt Forever just checked in. Nice to see you, Red. I haven't seen you in a while. Maybe your work hours changed for you there, and you can watch and be on with us live. He was missing the chat groups with you guys. Also, Modeler G checked in. Nice to see you. Yeah, I think from what I've heard, they're gonna offer the smooth saucer as a separate part, and then going forward, the kit itself. Whenever you order a new kit, I think they're gonna do a special 50th anniversary package of the 350 scale Enterprise, and from going forward, from what I understand, the kit will include the smooth saucer standard. So you'll have to, if you want to have the grid lines like they were done on the original filming model, you're gonna have to figure out a way to pencil grid those on there. That's not going to be exactly easy. You're going to have some kind of a template or something to do that, to make them look all nice and even. The lines that come down straight won't be too hard. You just got to make sure those are spaced evenly, but the circular ones going around, keeping those all nice and even and everything would be pretty tough to do, because you're not dealing with a totally flat surface. Speaking of masks and templates, I've got a brand new product that came in from my friend Jerry at HDA Model Works that he's given me to do some testing with. I'll show that to you guys next week. Those of you out there who are looking to build 350 scale Enterprise refits and doing the Aztecing on that, you're going to be very pleased. It's been a long time coming, but we're going to have something to show you on that next week. So some really good news there. Yeah, if the kit comes with a template for doing those grid lines, that would be nice. There's been a long time argument about the grid lines, but the grid lines were definitely there, guys. You can look at the original photos now that the Smithsonian's done all their research and everything. Those grid lines were definitely on the model in the original show. George, I talked about the Electra at the beginning of the show. I was going to do the decaling on it tonight, but I just sprayed that thing again with a fresh coat of paint this morning, and using that Duplicolor, it dries really slow, so it wasn't quite ready. I was worrying about if I handled it tonight, I'd get fingerprints on it. So next week we'll finish that up. The Matara Nebula, I shot a video. I'll put it out on the channel this week. And actually next week during the show, on this show, we're going to show you the electronics that we're working on. I've set up my soundboards, and I'm using that Tenant Controls remote control setup with that to show you how we're going to have the sounds working, and we're going to have that kind of arguing and dialogue going back and forth between Kirk and Khan. So you'll see that on next week's show, but there'll be a video coming out this week on my TrekWorks channel showing you an update on the, I believe that'll be part 4, I think, or part 3, I can't remember. But we're working on the 2 models. Get you caught up on that one. They're still finishing up the molds on the 8-foot Enterprise model that we're working on. What I understand now, they're just working on finishing up the pylons, and then the model is going to be complete. So I've got my fingers crossed, guys. I'm chomping at the bit just as much as you are. I started getting kind of frustrated waiting for it, but I just try not to think about it anymore, and when it happens, it happens. I'm being told that it's still all on track and everything, so we'll just have to wait and see. I can't make it go any faster. Funny one there, Cal. Okay, I'm just scrolling around here looking for questions, guys. Yeah, Modeler X, that's what the word is that there won't be any grid lines on the saucer anymore after they put out the new kit. When that will be, I'm not exactly sure, but I believe they're going to begin with that with the 50th anniversary packaging of the kit. So since it's going to be a 50th anniversary, I'm assuming that they're going to release it sometime still in 2016. Otherwise, it won't be the 50th anniversary anymore. That'll be the 51st if they get into next year. No worries, Gary. Aaron Van Dorn, or Van Doorn. Welcome, Aaron. I think he's somebody new. He's asking, when does the Mobius, he said Morpheus, but I think he means Mobius, Enterprise coming out? Is there a release date? I haven't heard anything on it. They just did a pre-release kind of press release at the Wonderfest this year. Mobius Models did. The model that they had on display wasn't actually the model that they're going to produce. It was somebody else's model, just to give people an idea. There hasn't been any word. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit bigger scale than the Revell Into Darkness JJ Prize, but apparently they've got the entire line for the JJ universe, so we'll be seeing maybe the Calvin, the Into Darkness Enterprise, and without giving away too much, you get to see a brand new Enterprise design at the very end of the film. If you guys have seen the movie and paid attention, the last scene in the film, they show the Enterprise, and it's definitely got some changes to it around the pylons and around the deflector. Looks like they moved the neck a little bit farther forward, so they'll have the rights to that ship as well. So could be some pretty exciting stuff coming out from them, and I'm pumped about that. I think Mobius will do a fantastic job with that Star Trek line, and I hope they eventually get the rights to do all the Star Trek stuff. I'd be really happy about that. I'm a big fan of Mobius. So, yeah, guys, I talked about it a little bit during the show this week. Start thinking about your Halloween builds. We're going to do another Halloween group build this year on the Model Shop Google community. I know it seems like it's a little ways off right now, but it'll be here before you know it. So hopefully you guys will participate. We want to try to get all the models finished up, or as close to finish as possible, because I'd like to get all the pictures in for the slideshow that we'll broadcast on our Halloween special this year, and show everybody model finished up. Now I haven't looked far enough ahead on the calendar. I'm not sure what day Halloween falls on this year, but we'll do it on the Sunday before Halloween. If Halloween is going to be on a Monday or Tuesday, we'll do our show regularly on our Sunday night, and we'll do our Halloween special that night. So anyone that wants to participate in that group build, start thinking about that now. Got another new one in here, Gary Jacquard. Nice to see you, Gary. He's asking, what part do you assemble the main parts of the TOS Enterprise, hull, nacelles, and so on using a lighting kit? I build the nacelles, then the pylons, run the wires up through the pylons to do the lighting up in there. Then I build the two halves of the secondary hull, and then I finish up with the saucer. That's how I do mine, Gary. But when you're doing lighting, you just got to plan everything out to where you're going to be able to run your wiring through and make everything connect. And then I build everything in sub-assemblies and then connect it all together at the end. It's just kind of the way I do it. Yeah, nice scaled Vengeance. USS Vengeance would be a sweet kit too. I actually really like that design, Aaron. So Leona Timber Company is saying that our show will be on the 30th of October, so that means Halloween must be falling on a Monday this year. Rick O'Connor's asking, do I like Krylon Clear? I've used it, Rick. I didn't have any problem with it. I'm usually using all-clad clear lacquer, or for my cars, I'm using an automotive 2K two-part, high gloss clear, and for my satin or dull, I'm using either testers or I'm using this Duplicolor that comes in a can. I think I showed you guys that here a couple of weeks ago. I'll grab it again. I bought this off of jegs.com, which is an automotive paint supplier. Well, they sell race car parts. It was cheap. It was 20-something bucks for this can. It's a 32-ounce can. It's already pre-thinned and ready to spray, and it yields a sort of an in-between dull and satin finish. It's not completely dull like Tester's Dull Coat, so this is a finish that you'd maybe use on one of your classic Enterprises or even the Enterprise refit. You can spray this on. You can actually buff it a little bit if you want it to shine up just a little bit more, but it sprays really nice. It dries great. It's lacquer based, so it will go over the top of most things with no reaction issues or anything like that. But what I do is I kind of get some products that I get used to using, and I stick with it. I'm not one for jumping around and trying too many different things and experimenting, especially on kits that I'm working on, because you get some kind of weird paint reaction or some weird thing going on, and that can screw everything up. So I have my own little system here, and I kind of stick with it. Lately, I've been using this this Duplicolor primer from I get this at O'Reilly's. It's called Filler Primer. It's more of a high build primer, and it's great. It dries fast. It sands really nice. It's got basically the same properties as the Duplicolor Perfect Match. They're kind of higher grade primer, but this stuff is a bigger can and it's cheaper. This stuff is a couple dollars cheaper than the Duplicolor Perfect Match, and it's a bigger can. This is a 12-ounce can, and here in the shop, we've been using this for about the past 2 months or so on everything I've done, and I've not had any problem with it at all. I figured I'd give it a try because it's Duplicolor, and it was a little cheaper than the Perfect Match, and I really like it so far. So you might want to try that out there. It shouldn't mess with your system. It shouldn't mess with anything that you've been using because it's Duplicolor. It's pretty much the same stuff if you're used to using Duplicolor already. But it's called Duplicolor Professional, and it sprays beautifully. It dries fast. What I always look for in a primer is how it sands, and when it's fully dried and when you sand it, if it doesn't put off a nice little powder when it sands, it's no good. It has to. I believe this is a lacquer based, so which is my preference as far as what I use for primers, because they usually tend to sand better than acrylics do. Acrylics primers dry really hard. They almost look sort of glossy, and they don't sand as nice as the lacquer based primers do. So you might want to give that stuff a try and save yourself a couple bucks. And as far as I know, yeah, like Chris out there, he uses Duplicolor. A lot of the guys that build a lot of kits, they've never had any problems with any kind of Duplicolor stuff. Now, you start getting into some of like the Rust-Oleum and stuff like that, yeah, there's been a lot of reports coming in from people that saying there's issues with that stuff, so I stay away from any of that. And I did try a couple of the Krylon. They're clear, gloss clear, they're matte clear, and I didn't really care for it that much. I didn't think their gloss clear was really that glossy at all. Not even close to like just regular even Tester's gloss was better than that. I have some Createx paints here, Rick. I have some couple of shades that I use. I have some black that I use for doing some washes and stuff. I thin it out really thin, and I use it for some of my washes and everything. And yeah, it's good stuff. But Chris Cortell turned me on to these. He's turned a lot of people on to that, but he's turned me on to these craft paints. And I'll tell you, for figures and stuff like that, I love them. I mean, because they flow really nice, they dry pretty fast, and they give a nice dull finish for, a lot of figures, their clothing and the texture on them, they shouldn't be too glossy. And, my automotive paints have a sort of a satin finish when they dry. So, for instance, like doing the pants on Kirk here, we want these to be, like a flat black. We don't want these to be glossy at all. We'll gloss up his boots a little bit because they're supposed to be, leather, or maybe they were vinyl, I don't know. But so, yeah, and the facial texture, that all looks correct. And so you really don't even have to seal over it with anything if you don't want to when you finish up with these things. So I added a little gloss when I did that Kraken because I wanted him to look like he came out of the water. But, I mean, the other figures that I've done, I haven't put any kind of sealer on them at all. They just look great just the way they are. And you can't beat the price on it. I mean, I get them over at my local Hobby Lobby, and they're really cheap. I've already got a massive collection of those things. Yeah, Chuck uses Tamiya primer. Tamiya is pretty good, but it's a small can, and man, that stuff's expensive. Okay, guys, we're getting close to wrapping this thing up here. Just gonna roll through here once more and see if I missed any questions or not. Modeler X says he got some Duplicolor clear gloss too. You don't thin it. When I sprayed it, left a bunch of spider webs. Now, are you talking you use gloss, Modeler X? No, because this stuff is not gloss. This is a satin or semi-gloss that I'm using here, and I didn't have to do anything. Straight out of the bottle and into my airbrush, and away I went. The gloss, maybe they're lacquer gloss, high gloss. Maybe it's a little thicker. If it is, just thin it with a little bit of lacquer thinner. And that should take care of your spider webbing problem. It's a lacquer-based paint. You can thin it with straight-up lacquer thinner. Don't put too much lacquer thinner there, or you'll lose all your gloss. Yes, and I mentioned that last week, guys, and I put a post on the Google community page. Starting this Wednesday night, we're going to start doing Hangouts again. So at 7 p.m. Central Time, USA Central Time, we're going to start doing Hangouts. They're going to be informal Hangouts, guys. They're not going to be the type of Hangout that I used to do where I moderated the whole thing and I was kind of the host. I'm not going to be the host at all. I'm going to host it as far as putting it up, but I'm just going to be in there working on the bench and chatting with people. It's not going to be anything formal at all. I haven't made up my mind if we're going to record it or not. We'll see what kind of people, what they want to do. But we've had comments coming in that people would like to see the Hangouts again, so we may broadcast those while we're doing them. Maybe not. It depends on what the guys want to do. But it's just going to be very informal, just hanging out, having fun, working on the bench. And keep each other company while we're modeling every week, and just working on our kits at our own pace. Nothing fancy about it at all. It should be a lot of fun. So when You can expect it around maybe quarter to 7 or so, 10 minutes to 7, every Wednesday night at again USA Central Time. I'll put the link up to the. There won't be any formal invitations going out. I'll just put the link up on the Google page, the model shop community Google page. I'll pin it to the top so everybody can find it, and just click on that link, and you should be able to get into the Hangout. Now we have a limit as far as I believe only 10 people can. I don't think Google has changed that. Oh, it was Chris Cortell's birthday. Okay, happy birthday, Chris. Yeah, I didn't see that. I can't roll back to the very beginning of the chat here, guys. I can only go so far. But happy birthday, Chris. You made it another year, buddy. You got many more ahead of you. We're looking forward to following along with a lot more of your fantastic work for many years to come, bud. If I ever get up and around Ohio in your neck of the woods, I'll take you out and buy you a beer sometime, buddy. Pay you back for all the awesome tips you've passed on for all of us. Yeah, no wonder he ate 4 pieces of cake. Okay, very cool. Gary M's asking about a link. I can't put links in here. It won't let me, Gary. It's Jegs, Jegs, not Jakes. Jegs, Jegs. Jegs Automotive. They're a big time. They've been around since the 70s, I think. They supply a lot of race car parts. If you've ever heard of Summit Automotive, they're very much like that kind of a company. So you shouldn't have any problem finding that. I ordered mine online through their online catalog, this paint, and I got it in, I think, 4 days, so that wasn't bad at all. Shipping was pretty cheap. And this 32-ounce can, using an airbrush, is going to last you a long time. It'll probably go bad before you finish using it all. Just keep it sealed up really good. Yeah, Chris has got it there, Jegs. Scott's asking about the Eagle 22-inch Eagle transporter. I haven't built that one yet, Scott. I just recently built the smaller kit, the classic kit, and I did lighting and a soundboard on it and all that, but I haven't got one of the new kits yet. I will definitely build it when I get around to it, though. It's on my bucket list. All right, folks, I think we're going to call this one a wrap. I appreciate you guys all being on with us tonight. As usual, we had a nice turnout tonight. I think we peaked over 100 a couple of times here tonight. So don't forget to leave us a little click on that like button if you can, folks. We really appreciate that. That helps spread the word about our little show here. Oh, and I wanted to mention a big thank you to everybody that's bought our T-shirts so far. We've got a nice little run going on the T-shirts. We tried to keep the price affordable on those, so I hope you guys will send us some pictures of you wearing your shirt so we can have you featured as part of our model shop crew here, or part of our team. Everybody's part of the team, but it'd be nice if you were wearing a shirt too. Hint, hint. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching again. We really appreciate it. The money we're going to use for those shirts is going to help us to keep improving our show and bringing products to you and showing you kit reviews and all that kinds of good stuff. I'm on more of a budget than I was before with my employment thing kind of changing here. You guys are all kind of aware of that, but again, I appreciate the support very much. Should be launching our website here pretty soon too, so we're going to have some soundboards and some other stuff over there, and hope you guys will support that or pass the word around about it for people that are looking for that kind of stuff. So thanks again for tuning everyone tonight. We really appreciate it, and again, big shout out and thanks to the guys over at Styrene Syndicate for their 48-hour marathon, and we're looking forward to doing our group build here for Halloween coming up, and hope you will get a nice turnout for that. We had a great turnout last year. So until next week, everybody, good night and take care, and happy modeling, everyone. See you next time.